Alright, guys, today I want to go ahead and offer up my initial impressions of Deadair's dedicated 5.56 can, the Sierra 5, and the one I have here is the one with the chemo mount. Starting off right off the back, it's negative. From the initial announcement of its release, though I was excited they were coming out with the dedicated 5.56 can as I own the Deadair Sandman S, I was really hoping that it wasn't be within their Sandman series. I really like the Sandman series, a lot of people do, and it's done so well for so long. I didn't understand why they had to reinvent and come out with something different. With that being said, I can understand that innovation is huge in the industry, and a lot of people like modularity. Where the modularity comes from in the Sierra system is its adaptability. Deadair offers it two different ways. Chemo, like you see here, as far as what I have, and then also their Xeno mount. With that being said, though, they offer what they call the industry standard thread pitch, which is 1 3/8 by 24, which allows you to also utilize other companies' adapting mounts. Now, with that being said, that's one of the reasons why I really wanted the Sandman. I didn't care about the adaptability or modularity. I just wanted a chemo mounted version, so I would have preferred the actual weld to alleviate me from ever having an additional possible weak point. With that being said, for mine and within my experience, I have found it to be a weak point. With that being said, my first time out, just took it out of the box, threw it on my rifle, went out and zeroed it, and then instantly started going out to 200 and 400 yards with her. Had a great day doing that. It was just working on precision fire at those distances. And then when I got home to take her apart and clean her, the rifle that is, I went to go take the can off, and she came apart right here at the threads. Annoyed the shit out of me, as that was one of my concerns with the not being welded, such as a one-piece unit, such as the Sandman. Immediately went to the instructions, as I didn't read them prior to use, and it talks about prior to hard use, add Loctite, and there's a certain kind that they actually recommend. So I was like, all right, I didn't read the instructions, my fault. So I did not use thread locker. I went ahead and just torqued it down intentionally. I wanted to test it out to see how she would do with just simply torquing it down. Just in case maybe, hey, it didn't come torqued at any given spec, that I wanted to go ahead and make sure it was torqued down and go out, and then actually apply some hard use to her. At that time, I came back home, same thing, went to go ahead, break her down and clean her up. And once again, it came apart right there at the adapter mount. Once again, because I'm just testing this out, I did not have thread locker. Torqued it down, which leads me up to today. Came out today intentionally running some higher cadence drills, and wanted to test out something else on top of that. And right here on camera, let's go ahead and test it out. Once again, I have not used thread locker yet, and let's see if she comes off at the chemo mount or if she continues to come off right here at the threads where the adapter screws in. Yeah, go figure. So coming apart at the threads, not at the chemo mount. So once again, I'm not following the instructions. I'm not adding the thread locker. So take that as you will. To me, it just annoys the shit out of me. When I get home this time, I will go ahead, add the thread locker and torque her down, and then I'll have a future follow-up video at a later time as far as that's concerned. But Deadair, if you ever watch this, I would have really preferred a Sandman version, but who cares who I am? I am just a nobody. Now, with that being said, Deadair did offer this pre-drilled hole right here, so that way you could tack weld it in place. And that is something I've kind of thought about and may do somewhere down in the future, especially if after utilizing thread locker, if that sucker continues to come apart there. That'll be probably something I'll go ahead and do. As me personally, I don't really care for this can, the adapters. At least at this point, I don't care. I don't foresee me ever needing a different adapter for running my Sierra 5. But let's get on to the next thing. Might as well stick with the cons. It's a gassy can. Holy cow. That first day out, once again, I was talking about all I did was zero and then work on some precision shooting out at mid-range distances. And I've never had this before with any of my cans or any of the cans I've ever used before. But with firing one round, pause one round as I'm trying to do some precise shots at distance, was extremely surprised I was getting gas in my face. And all of my experience with shooting silencers, it's usually when you start to run the gun harder and you got a more rapid cadence of fire is when I would normally notice getting gassed out. This one here surprised me with some onesie twosie shots that I was getting gassed out. The second time and today, it was the same thing. The second time and today, I did actually run some larger volumes of fire through the drills I was running, and it was more expected to be gassy. But currently, this is the gassiest can I own. Now, with that being said, it's a sample size of one. This is my can. This is my rifle. It could be just the current tuning that I have set up on it. This one here is a 14.5 or 14.7 Ballistic Advantage Hansen barrel. If you don't know Hansen barrels, they already come with a gas block, which is a low profile gas block. This one's got a mid-length gas system where I used a Aero Precision gas tube. Has a mil-spec spring in it and an H2 buffer. Now, for all my other silencers for AR-15s, an H2 has been all that's been necessary. My 10.3 also has the Geisley Super 42 spiral buffer spring in it. But all my other ARs, that actual H2 primarily is all that's been needed to have a good gassed rifle. So with that being said, with it being gassy, it could be just my rifle, and I just need to tune it better. Why I haven't yet so far is right off the back in the beginning, I was primarily shooting a lot of 77 grainers and was doing that for some of my precision work. And I was noticing that first day, the ejection pattern was pretty decent. It was right there at the 3 o'clock, and it kind of continues to be with those 77 grainers. It's when I drop into the 72s and the 55s, and primarily with the 5.56, is when I notice I get that like 1:32 o'clock ejection pattern. So it is over gas. So with my gas experience, it could be just the current setup. So what I will be trying out is an H3 buffer. Later on in the future, I'll get back to you with if that actually fixed the problem of how gassy it is. With that being said though, this can right out the gate with even the single shots getting some gas in my face. Now it's not all the time, just every now and then, which is weird, has instantly got me thinking into flow-through cans such as Huxworks Flow, or really looking at also the new Silencer Co. Velos LBP can, whatever, both flow-through cans. With my current experience so far with the Sierra. Never thought that way with my Surefire SOCOM 5.56 RC2 or any of my other cans, which I still don't feel that way with them. But this can's making me think of trying to float through can, as well as a few other reasons. But so far as the pros are concerned, I haven't been able to test out the flash mitigation cap. I haven't actually shot this sucker at night or in any low light conditions whatsoever so far. I do really like the tone of this can. Holy cow, man, this thing definitely does sound really nice. I do like how it's a little bit shorter than my actual Sandman S, and they're definitely comparable to my ear. It is a tad bit quieter than my Sandman S with a 30 cal end cap on it, so that's pretty cool. They were able to make it to be a little bit quieter, and usually with that you also get more blowback, so maybe that's part of also the problem. But there's some other things I'm going to try with the gassiness. Going to start with an H2 buffer. And then I was also thinking what I might also do is try, if that doesn't solve it, or in combination with that, maybe also trying a 30 cal end cap on there to see if that actually helps and doesn't actually rob its nice tone that it has. But once again, this is just my initial impressions so far. Either at a year or over 1,000 or 1,500, I'll probably possibly give a follow-up review. May give a short review within the next month or two after adding thread locker to see if that actually helps, or if I really have to end up going towards a tack weld if it continues to come loose right there at the thread adapter. But thought I'll go ahead and give you guys my initial impressions of how I feel about it so far. Hope this helps you out. Thank you and have a good day.